आज का जो हमारा पहला सेशन है उसका विषय है इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजीज इन टीचिंग, लर्निंग एंड evaluation. And this session will be chaired by Professor Nandita Singh. I request Professor Nandita Singh to please come up onto the stage and join us here. And this session will be chaired by Professor Nandita Singh, and I just want to say something about her. She's Dean International Students, Punjab University. She has devoted 30 years in teaching, research and extension activities. आपको आपके doctoral कार्य के लिए fellowship भी प्राप्त हुई है. She has headed the Institute of Educational Technology and Vocational Education. She headed the Department of Education, Punjab University. आपने स्वामी विवेकानंद स्टडीज़ में बतौर कोऑर्डिनेटर भी अपनी सेवाएं दी हैं. आपने साउथ एशिया फोरम फॉर ह्यूमन राइट्स में भी भाग लिया है, पार्टिसिपेट किया है. आपको विभिन्न फोरम्स में एड्रेस करने के लिए आमंत्रित किया जाता है. सो मैं आमंत्रित करूंगी पहले सेशन के जो हमारे स्पीकर्स हैं और जो चेयर हैं to please join us here on the stage. And the theme for the session is integration of information and communication technologies in teaching, learning and evaluation. I would like to request the esteemed guests on the desk to kindly initiate. Mr. P.K. Sharma can initiate the session, please. P.K. Mishra. P.K. Mishra.
Very good morning and welcome to you all. As you are aware that this session is integration of information communication technologies in teaching, learning and evaluation. And yesterday we were talking that ICTs are going to play a vital role in the field of teacher education in particular and education in general. Here we are three panelists and we are waiting for the chair. So I request Dr. Mamoor Ali, our co-panelist, to come on the dais and give his presentation.
Presentation के लिए बोलना होगा उधर. Good morning to all, respected dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that how big our education system is. We have more than 26 crore students in our school system, more than 85 lakh teachers, and about 15 lakh schools. And still we accepted that we are towards, or you can say that the quality education is a dream is still to achieve. Since 2004, if I particularly talk about the ICT, under the scheme ICT at the rate school scheme, government is providing ICT infrastructure to schools. And teachers are being trained in ICT since long back. Even after so many efforts in the field of ICT, particularly, and in general in education, still we are not observing the changes in learning outcomes. This figure is not new to you. This is already known to everyone, but there is a point here. When we talk about the challenge and we think about the quality education, we say that at the same time that we have challenges, but we have the potential of ICT, or you can say that ICT has potential to change the scenario. ICT can improve learning situations in the classroom, can improve the learning outcomes as we desired, but how and why it is not working as we are thinking that it should work. So there are some issues or some reasons behind it. If you want to list these issues or reasons, there are many, but I want to highlight 2 points here. One is that we could not understand the real meaning of ICT as it should be. Still, majority of the people who are working in the area of ICT understand ICT is something use of computer or internet, but it is more than that. We will discuss what is the real meaning of ICT. The second issue which come to my mind is that integration in the real sense is still awaiting, means it is not there in the field. Though there are models, though there are theoretical explanations how to integrate ICT in school system or in teacher education, but still we are not really implementing or not translating that theory into practice. So what should be the real way, or what should be the practical way of integrating ICT? I will discuss whatever I have or you can say whatever I thought in that way or in that line. So I will start with this point, that what is ICT? Though there are so many definitions, people are defining ICT in different ways, and we can define ICT in terms of functions, but I will not reiterate the definition here. I just want to highlight 2 points. One is that in the definition of ICT or in the meaning of ICT, there are 2 major functions or 2 points. One is the creation and another is communication. If any technology, any device, any software, any resource can create information and can communicate to the stakeholders, then it is ICT. And there is a relationship, interconnection between the ICT and education. That's why ICT is important in education. If you think about education, again there are 2 major, for me, you may have some different opinion on this, but for me, education, when we talk about educational function or processes, the content, the creation of the content, or what you say, the constructivist approach, that means every child will construct his or her own knowledge. That is the main point in education, that content creation and then communication, how to communicate this communication to the students or learners. So both are, these 2 functions are common in ICT and education. That's why ICT is a, you can say, very much natural to education in terms of processes. That's why ICT should be defined in terms of these functions, like in this infograph you can understand that ICT means, or it refers to sending, receiving, manipulating, creating and communicating digital information. When we come to the next issue, that is integration, there are so many models as mentioned. I already mentioned that there are theoretical models and theoretical explanations of integrating ICT. So this is also very much known to you, that TPEC is a model, very famous model for ICT integration in school education system. But You may disagree on this point, but I feel that it is not working due to some reasons. Maybe it is not really translated into the practical way. Though I have observed in many interactions with the teachers, as well as whenever we go for training, as a NCRT, I work in NCRT, so I understand this point because we interacted so many teachers during our training programs. I observed that teacher understand the meaning of TPEC. What is the meaning? But it is not really translated into teaching learning situations. Or you can say it is not really implemented as it should be. There are so many reasons behind it. I'm not going to into that detail, but the point is it is not really working in the field. So what should be the next point? Either it should be translated in real sense, it should be explained that how to integrate ICT in terms of, in the way of this model, or we should think differently. So if I start with another point, that we also say that there is a 5E approach for constructivist teaching learning process, or it is not related to directly to ICT, but I can think in terms of ICT, how to infuse or integrate ICT in all 5 E's. So if I can think in that way, it is also a kind of integration of ICT in teaching learning process. So for engaging activity, what I can do, how I can engage my children, my students using ICT. So I'm just giving you some examples. It's not that I will explain every point here, but I will just give you some examples of activities, or you can say technologies, which can be for these 5 E's. For example, if I start with engage, it may be some kind of online video or online streaming video from YouTube or somewhere, where you can show some kind of context to the content which you have selected for teaching learning, and child can be engaged in that. Even you can also start with concept map, which may be created using digital technologies. Nowadays, there are so many software to create digital concepts, or digital concept maps. So we can start with this type of technologies to engage the child with the content. Similarly, we can think about how to give the platform through technology to the learners to explore more on the content. So there are so many, again, ways to help or to facilitate this learning process using 5E approach through ICT. I'm not going to explain everything here. You can explore, or you can go browse on the internet also. It is just an example how to think about ICT for integrate, or to integrate in teaching learning process when you are thinking 5E approach as a constructivist approach in learning. So all these 5 E's can be through ICT. Then there is another way. This is my own thinking. It is not from anywhere. That when we think about the processes, because we can also think in terms of processes. There are so many other processes, but these are the major processes involved in teaching learning. The very first thing is, before coming to the class, teacher plan, or every person who is associated with teaching learning, plan either on the paper or in mind that what to teach, how to teach, when to teach. So can you use ICT for planning? Yes, we can use ICT for better planning. And planning may be in terms of time, in terms of content. So if I think planning in terms of time, it is calendar kind of things. And we know that most of the teachers who are teaching in the schools, or even in teacher education, they are preparing their course calendar, academic calendar, like from, if it is semester system, it is for 6 months. If it is annual system, they are preparing course calendar or the calendar for the whole year. So can I use some tool or some technology to digitize this process to make it more effective? Yes. Like for example, if I give you one example here, Google Calendar is the most, you can say, easily used nowadays, as well as there are software. Like one software I remember, there is a software, Rainlander, Rainlender, Rainlander. There are so many others. I'm just giving you one example. So you can use this software for creating calendar. Means you can plan your teaching learning in terms of time. If you want to think about the planning in terms of content, you can also use ICT for better planning in terms of content by creating, again, concept map. Because whenever you have some concept map in your mind, you can focus on the major points in the classroom, as well as the students or the learners can be focused on those points. So you can use some software again, like there are so many software, but I'm giving you one example. There is a software FreeMind and FreePlane. You can use these software for creating concept map for planning in terms of content. Then you can also digitize your own thoughts noting process. Like for example, maybe you are noting somewhere on the paper, and you will forget after 1 month or 1 year that I have gone to this conference and I have noted some points in the session, but where it is. So if you can use technology ICT for taking notes also, you can organize your notes and thoughts in digital way. So there are so many technologies, ICTs, which can help you in planning. When you come to school, or you can say when you really going to teach in the classroom, the first process is, in my point of view, that you have to present some content. You have some content in your mind to transact, to deliver in front of your learners. So how to present? Whether ICT can help you in presentation? Yes, there are so many software again or technologies which can help you to make your presentation better. So there are so many ways of development of resources. You can present the content in video format, audio format, in interactive, you can say, resources, and so many and so forth. Then the major important process after presentation is, if you will not interact with the students, if you will not communicate, the learning may happen, may not happen, I don't know. I'm not sure whether learning is happening if interaction is not there, if communication is not there. For me, interaction is the key of learning. So can I use ICT for communicating, for, you can say, continuous communication with the students, even after the, you can say, class of 35 minutes or 40 minutes? Can I continue my discussion with the students? Yes, it is possible through ICT. So I can think of ICT which can help me in continuation of my discussion, learning discussion. So similarly, assessment can also be done through ICT. The another way of thinking is, I'm not going to discuss because time is not there. So there is another way of thinking of ICT integration is approach. It may be supplementary approach, means you are teaching through your own way, and at the last you are showing some video or audio which is not really necessary for that particular content to learn, but you are just showing that to supplement, to show more, or to give some more, you can say, things to students. But if it is really needed, then again you are showing that video or audio, you are using that software, technology, just to add something, but it is really needed. So that is complementary. And same way you can think about the integration and infusion. So this is also one way of thinking to integrate ICT in teaching learning. Last is that which we are working upon. We means that NCERT is going to show to the public that there is a module on this way, that how to integrate ICT in teaching learning process. So we should start with the content, nature of content. The teacher start with the content, that what is the nature of the content. Like for example, it may be factual, it may be conceptual, it may be procedural, it may be metacognitive element. So if content is procedural, you cannot use just image. You have to use some simulation or video or some interactive element. So as per the nature of the content, we have to think about the ICT. So that point we have to remember, that teacher should first analyze the content and then think about the ICT. Then the context is again very important. Context means the complete knowledge of the learner, as well as the field, or the, you can say, the school in terms of education, if I say. So from where he or she is coming, what is the background, whether he or she is having the access to ICT or not at home, or what kind of resources the teacher is having with him or her, what kind of facilities are available in terms of ICT in schools, and there are so many others. So context is also important. As per the context, again we have to think what ICT should be used and how to use. Then teaching learning method, that means pedagogy. For example, if I am thinking about to make you understand what is the meaning of, or how to understand the metal and non-metal concept, I want to differentiate it. So I can demonstrate, or I can first project the objects to show to the learners, then they will differentiate, or they will do some activity. So for that purpose, I can use some software to create interactives. Like there is a software, there is a platform H5P, which can be very useful for creating such kind of environment where child can interact with the content or with the object which is developed using ICT. And then ICT itself is another important factor. It should not be that just we are using ICT, so I can select any ICT, but it should be selected on the basis of the potential of that particular resource. So at last I will say that yes, it is possible to improve learning outcomes, learning situations through ICT if really we are translating the theoretical explanations or whatever we understand in terms of theory of ICT into real teaching learning situations. It is possible. Thank you very much.
A very good morning to all of you. I'm thankful to Dr. Mamoor Ali for starting and initiating discussion on ICT. We'll continue with the panelists first, and later I'll give my observations. So I would like to start with the next panelist. We have on board Dr. Tamo Chattopadhyay. He's Associate Professor and Director, Institute of Education, American University of Central Asia, Kazakhstan. He's a Fulbright awardee. He studies education and social policy of children in Asia and Latin America. He consults with government and international development organizations. Dr. Chattopadhyay.
Thank you. This one, right here. That one there.
This.
View the cop. Take it to the view. Yes, I got it. Just this slide here. Slideshow. Just put it to the slideshow, please. Can you bring it to this icon so that we just have the slide? Excuse me. Wait a minute. Wait, got it. Thank you very much. Thank you for the patience. This is my only slide, so we won't take any more time to adjust slides. A very good morning, and thank you for coming early morning on a Sunday. The previous presenter, Dr. Ali, talked about the use of ICT and technology for teaching, learning in the classrooms. My focus here is to talk about use of ICT or various forms of technology-enabled processes in improving teacher education. And the only aspect I'm going to focus on in this 10 minutes I have, right, is mentoring. So I went to Google Translate this morning, and I found that the Hindi word for mentor is guru. So yes, we had a tradition of mentoring, but in the modern times, we have to take what was best before and what is best today and combine. So what I'm presenting here is an attempt to show how this can be done, and I'm going to make a case to the audience here that this is possibly one of the ways to address the many challenges of scale, cost effectiveness, accountability that we face in teacher education and in the education sector in the country. And I make the case based on an actual implementation that we are doing in the master's program in teaching that I direct at the American University of Central Asia in Kyrgyzstan, not Kazakhstan. And we have done that for a 1-year period, and we have results. And based on that, we can say that if we can do it in Kyrgyzstan, you can do it in India. So here is the story. I have just one slide. So take a look at the teacher. This is the classroom teacher. This is a typical Indian classroom. I'm sorry for one slide, I couldn't give photo credits, but these are the pictures I got from internet. Here is a very typical, most likely a government school and a teacher. What the process that we have implemented at the American University of Central Asia in our program is that we have an entire video-based, web video-based e-mentoring process, okay? So this first green arrow is the teacher uploads a video using their own mobile phone to the YouTube site, so we have to give teachers those kind of very basic instructions. After they upload, that video is then assessed, accessed, and observed by a mentor teacher. So note I'm actually saying a mentor teacher, not just a mentor, because our kind of position is such that some of the best teacher educators are actually teachers themselves, right? But it's not always the case. There is a distinction between being a very good math teacher and a very good math teaching mentor. Just like there is a difference between being a very good football player and a very good football coach. So that's a whole other sphere we have to address. And that goes back to some of the conversations we had at the morning panel yesterday on focus on teacher education. So keeping that aside, so in this, my mentor is also a classroom teacher in a similar government school, but somebody who has got a lot of experience and has been now trained to give feedback and mentor somebody else, okay? So the mentor observes this video. The mentor could be somewhere else, correct? So your teacher could be in a rural school in Uttar Pradesh. Your mentor could be in an urban school in New Delhi, and they don't have to see things synchronously. It's uploaded, it's on the website, and all they have to do is to go to an e-kiosk, or if they have a good signal in the school, observe it. The observation and assessment by the mentor teacher happens using a rubric, okay? These are the 6 domains of the rubric: planning and preparation, awareness of learner and learning, creating an environment of respect, instruction, content delivery, instruction, assessment of student learning, and professional responsibility. This is not a rubric that I created. We have some wonderful colleagues at the university, Elizabeth Davis, who had accompanied me earlier to the conference at NCTE in Baroda. So we have actually taken some of the best benchmark in international research, Danielson Framework for Teaching, so I kind of mentioned that at the bottom. Student-teacher observation tool that has been developed using some of the existing frameworks at Bard College, New York, with which we do have a partnership, and we offered the degree. So but this is kind of still, we have somehow tried to make the vocabulary more or less consistent. So within each of these domains, we have number of indicators, okay? And for each indicator, we have number of measures. The teacher is developing, teacher is effective, teacher is highly effective. And what within each of those, if we imagine this matrix, which is a fairly elaborate, like 12 to 15 page kind of on a table. So each of those cells, they actually describe what is it that the teacher is doing. So an effective teacher is, in the content, delivery domain, perhaps is giving appropriate, challenges to students at different levels in the classroom. the mentor is using the rubric to evaluate that one video of that teacher, okay? But here's another very important point of the video. The classroom teacher herself is able to observe herself and evaluate using that rubric, which is very empowering. Very often we don't see ourselves teaching, right? So yes, there is a tradition of somebody, a supervisor, an observer, evaluator comes into the classroom, observes you real time, sitting at the back of your class and gives you a feedback. That's great. But I think there is a very important aspect here with the video where the teacher can always go back and see what they did, the classroom teacher, right? It's in the repository. And all of these things are happening in a virtual space using very simple and free tools. We are using YouTube, we are using a smartphone with a camera, which almost everybody in this room has. We are using a Google form, so we have the rubric, and then the measurement and all of that happens on like a little Google form. So then the most important part here is that at some point there is actually a real-time interaction, and that can happen using a phone call, or if there's an internet, using a WhatsApp, where the mentor and the mentee, they have a dialogue and reflection, okay? Now, we are still experimenting in our own program with our teacher candidates who are placed in schools as practice teachers, or some of our candidates are actually current teachers who want a master's degree, so they are working in their own schools, but we have assigned mentors to them, okay? And the way we are working is we essentially have a 10-week window of a semester, and we are asking our practice teachers or our mentees or classroom teachers to upload 4 videos over this period of time as a benchmark, and they discuss with the mentor, what domain they're going to really focus on. The mentor can tell, I really want you to focus on the assessment. Your teaching, your content delivery is great, but the way you are, giving this test at the end of the class is not so effective. You should work differently on that. And the other important point is the teachers are doing it themselves. This is not 100% high-quality professional video like the ones we saw here, okay? But this gets to 80%. 80% is better than 0, not knowing what's happening in the classroom, not knowing that the teacher who came to a beautiful workshop in the capital city of the state and got 4 days of great knowledge and enlightenment, what does that teacher do when he goes back to his or her own classroom? The importance of mentoring, this kind of technology-enhanced mentoring, is that feedback is customized, right? We each go back to our own classrooms. We all got the same theory, same instruction, same teaching techniques, demonstrations. Now we go back to our own classrooms. We have our own unique set of students. And we have our own unique set of skills and strengths and weaknesses. I need to know how my voice, how my height, how my pace, my accent and pronunciation, creates a classroom where effective instruction, teaching, and learning is happening. I need somebody to look into my classroom and tell me, that's where, I saw your video, you did great, but you had the last row of students who were really, they're not paying attention. So this is where, I will say how this happens. The dialogue and reflection part is key, and of course, we are learning. There's a growing, I would say, recognition that teacher education needs to happen more like the way we prepare doctors. Like in many programs, this is called residency. We have essentially like, you go and you watch and somebody gives you a feedback. This is how most professions, develop experts, develop professionals. So I have just then the last 2 things I want you to focus on that, on the upper corner. Here is kind of a case, okay? It's cost effective. You can have some amount of content. Let's say I'm a teacher, I'm an aspiring teacher. I go to a B.Ed college. I go, for 2 years, I go and attend classes and lectures. Well, now part of that could be I do go and attend lectures. Then part of it I do online through some video lectures and etc. And then the remainder is I am teaching in a classroom and I am being supported and I am being mentored. Okay, it's cost effective in that sense. It brings a level of accountability into the system. So not necessarily for pre-service, but particularly for the in-service training. What happens after all these trainings and workshops? What do actually teachers do? If nothing, now in this system you can determine, okay, if you got this training, then we will give you a certificate after 6 months, as long as you give us 3 videos and show how you're implementing the training methodologies in your teaching. Okay, so that could be so some kind of a digital footprint. A very important thing is community. Teaching is a lonely profession. You come into the classroom, you close your door, nobody knows what's going on. Now your mentor could be anywhere. I know there's a panel that's going to talk about internationalization of teacher education, right? Think about that. You can have a mentor who could be teaching mathematics in Oman or in Kyrgyzstan or in New York City teaching English, right? So that is a very important aspect. So both the mentors, and because everything is digital, there is a way to create almost like a repository. So now from some of these videos, we can use them in the teacher preparation program and say, hey, this is what was going on. What do you think the teacher was doing? So really linking the practice to theory. I want to give credit to the presenter yesterday. I am a teacher. I missed the presentation but I did go to their website, and I think that some of the many things they are doing, but in a full-time, on-campus kind of a context. But that's the idea, that we are trying to constantly link the theory with the practice. And there is you can have the best teaching minds looking into some of the most challenging classrooms. You're no longer defined by where your school is. I was born in Kolkata, and when I wanted to go and do some work in education in disadvantaged areas in Kolkata, and I knew some of my other colleagues and friends and who were teaching in good schools in Kolkata. Some of them said, "Oh, it's so hard to get to that place. Even I can't go in there. I mean, it's like a whole day's. I have to skip my own classes." This is a very asynchronous model. Actually, makes all of those things go away. You teach at your own time. Your mentor watches you at your own time, and the mentor doesn't have to get to your school unless there is a real opportunity. And learning by doing is the best way of learning. We as educators understand that. There was a lot of talk about innovation. We saw some fantastic, videos. We saw some RDs. If we do this, we are able to capture everyday innovation that are happening, all around the country. Okay, there are great teachers in schools of our country, everywhere. In perhaps they are perhaps doing things that we need to know. So we can, by doing this as a process, we get to really see what's happening, what's good practice. And remember, we said that our mentor is a teacher as well. So some of this could be also, there's a reverse feedback loop. The mentor, and essentially at some points could also become mentees. I say this is a sustainable model because if we can have a group of mentors who start the cycle, then subsequently some of your star mentees will become the mentors. So it's a self-generating, potentially sustainable model. And all of it goes to the very heart of the challenge of India, which is scale, right? So you don't have enough teacher education colleges to accommodate all pre-service candidates. But doing this blended, you possibly can. Okay, so every good teacher could potentially become a mentor and take upon part of the education of another aspiring teacher. And these are the 3 areas where this approach can be equally applicable. In the pre-service teacher education world, what is commonly known as practice teaching, internship, clearly there is a way. You get to actually see what is going on in the classroom and give feedback. And your intern or your practice teacher can go back and look at the video, reflect, and think how they're going to do differently. Then they can go and see their own growth over a period of time, from first benchmark video and the last 4th video. These are the things that we are seeing in our own program, so I say with some confidence. It could be a key for induction of new teachers. There was a conversation about, we just train teachers and they go to schools. That very first or second year, when you have the teacher, so they are already no longer pre-service, but they are the new teacher. So that could be, again, an opportunity for using this. And of course, for in-service teacher training, for the same reasons I say that there is a way to actually now see how all of these training content and material gets reflected in the classroom. So with this, I would like to thank the organizers. I would like to thank NCTE. I would like to thank Professor Patel from IUCT, Professor Dr. Bedi and all the colleagues who had been very kind to invite and give me a chance to share some of the experiments that we are doing. And we'll be happy to share. I have my email there, so please feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chattopadhyay. You highlighted the role of mentor-teacher and how technology can help in establishing relationship between mentee and the mentor, the dialogue and reflection for assessing students' learning, connecting the teacher to students and to the larger community. I think we can share some good practices through, as he said, it is a good way of sharing good practices. So I think he has really highlighted how technology can become very useful for classroom teaching as well as for training students. Next, I invite the next speaker. We have Professor P.K. Mishra, who's from CVS University, Meerut. Professor Mishra has been in the field of teaching and has been working in the area of ICT for a long time.
Respected chair, dear co-panelists, colleagues and students. When I was thinking about how to integrate ICT in teaching, learning and evaluation process, although we have integrated ICT, but the question mark is how we are going to integrate it more and more. So when I was thinking, I come up with two solutions, and these are very simple solutions, and I am a simple person, that's why I am giving simple solutions. So my first solution is, as first message is, we need, if we would like to integrate ICT in teaching, learning and evaluation, we need smile teachers. We need a smile teacher, and I ask all the audience, please smile for a second. It looks like that we are feeling bored. It's just morning session, and I am thinking about the session of Professor Joshi. What will happen at that time if we are not smiling at this moment? Okay. So when I say we need smile teachers, for S means we need smart teachers. You have read many policy documents. The policy documents say, and they focus that we are going to convert our classrooms into smart classrooms. Friends, we don't need smart classrooms. We need smart teachers. If a teacher is smart, he or she is capable to convert any classroom into a smart classroom. But if a teacher is not smart, then a smart classroom will not do anything. This computer is as good as me. If I am good, I can use it. If I am like Mamur and Tamo, I can use it very well. If I am like P.K. Mishra, I can't do with it. So it's up to you how smart you are. So my first message is we need smart teachers, and our policies should say that we need smart teachers, and I congratulate Dr. Sadbir Vedi madam and Sanjay Avasthi. Slowly we are trying to make our teacher education in a way that we have to produce more and more smart teachers. So the second is we have mediator teachers. As Mamur was telling, we need a mediator teacher. Technology, ICT is one way, a student is in another way, and so we have a mediator teacher telling what type of technologies are available, and sometimes we have to learn from our student as well. So, okay, this is a technology our student is using, and I can use this technology into my classroom. So we need a mediator teacher, a smart teacher, and a teacher who mediates between student and technology, forming a kind of bridge. Then the third is we need interactive teacher. Smile, S for smart, M for a mediator, and I for interactive teachers. I often say, I sing a song. तू मुझे सुना मैं तुझे सुनाऊं अपनी प्रेम कहानी। इंटरैक्टिव टीचर। और हमारे क्लासेस में क्या होता है, सिर्फ टीचर कहानी सुनाता है, स्टूडेंट की तो सुनता ही नहीं है। पटेल सर, कहानियां किसके पास ज्यादा होंगी? स्टूडेंट के पास ज्यादा होंगी। और सुनाता कौन है? टीचर सुनाता है, उसकी नहीं सुनता। कल अग्निहोत्री जी भी कह रहे थे कि जैसे ही बच्चा हिलने की कोशिश करता है, टीचर उससे ज्यादा हिलने लगता है। सो वी नीड इंटरैक्टिव टीचर एंड दिस टेक्नोलॉजी इज फॉर इंटरैक्शन। सिर्फ आप ही मैसेज भेजोगे, दूसरे का कोई मैसेज पढ़ोगे नहीं। अपना तो मेल भेज दिया, दूसरे के मेल को पढ़ के रिप्लाई नहीं दिया, नो नीड। इंटरैक्टिव टीचर, इंटरैक्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी तो है ही इसीलिए। और समटाइम आई वार्न टीचर्स कि टेक्नोलॉजी आपकी सेहत के लिए कभी खतरनाक भी है। नाउ यू आर 24/7 टीचर। एनीबडी कैन सेंड एनी ईमेल, मैसेज एट एनी टाइम and you are supposed to respond. So we need interactive teacher using technology for better interaction, and if we are interactive, then of course technology will help. So we need smart, we need mediator teacher, we need interactive teacher, and we need a logical teacher. Smile, S-M-I-L-E, smile, logical teacher. Which technology is good for my student? If chalk is good, if blackboard is good, it's okay. I need PPT, I need audio, I need video, I need blog. It's up to me. I have to decide which technology is good for me. अगर सुई की जरूरत है तो सुई इस्तेमाल करेंगे, तलवार की जरूरत है तो तलवार इस्तेमाल करेंगे। लॉजिकल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ये है कि आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी मेरे क्लासरूम के लिए, मेरे कंटेंट के लिए बेटर है। So I have to be logical, which technology is good for me and which is not good for me. And then next is explorer. I have to be explorer. Mamoor was telling about different technologies. Tamo was telling about different technologies. And technologies are evolving in a very rapid pace. आपको एक चुटकुला सुनाता हूँ, हिंदी में सुनाऊंगा। पेरिस की बात है, एक आदमी भागा जा रहा था, दौड़ा जा रहा था, और उससे लोगों ने पूछा कि आप कहाँ, क्यों दौड़ रहे हो? बोला अभी बात मत करो, अभी अपने घर पहुंच जाऊं तो आप मुझसे बात करना। फिर दौड़ा जा रहा था, आखिर में लोग उसके पीछे पड़ गए कि दौड़ा क्यों जा रहा है। और हिंदुस्तान में भी अगर आदमी दौड़ना लगे तो सब उसके पीछे पड़ जाते कि कहाँ दौड़ के जा रहा है। तो उसके हाथ में लोगों ने देखा एक बैग है, थैला है। तो लोगों ने पूछा दौड़ रहे हो? तो उसने कहा मुझे इस थैले को जल्दी से जल्दी अपने घर लेके जाना है। तो लोगों ने पूछा भाई इस थैले में क्या है? तो इस थैले में, उसने कहा मेरे परिवार के लिए कपड़े हैं। तो बोले कपड़े हैं तो इतना भागने की जरूरत क्या है? उसने कहा कि मेरी चिंता यह है कि जब तक मैं अपने घर अगर जल्दी नहीं पहुंचा तो जब तक अपने घर पहुंचूंगा हो सकता फैशन चेंज ना हो जाए और ये कपड़े मेरे किसी काम के ना रह जाएं। सेम इज हैपनिंग विद टेक्नोलॉजी। टेक्नोलॉजीज आर इवॉल्विंग इन सच ए रैपिड पेस दैट यू हैव टू कीप पेस विद देम। और कितनी टेक्नोलॉजी तो हमें बाईपास कर जाती है, हमें पता ही नहीं चलता कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी आई और कौन सी गई। सो ए टीचर नीड टू बी एक्सप्लोरर। What type of technologies are available? What type of technologies we can use? What type of technologies are useful my student? How I am going to use it? So explorer, a teacher need to have always have eyes on that what type of technologies are evolving and what type of, and every technology is not meant for education. So which technologies are good for education and how I am going to use it? So explorer. So my first solution or message or a recommendation, you can say anything, a suggestion is we need SMILE teachers. If we would like to integrate ICT in teaching and learning more and more, we need SMILE teacher. SMILE first, S for smart, M for mediator, I for interactive, L for logical, and E for explorer. Then second, with SMILE teachers, we need SMILE approaches as well. Only SMILE teacher in one place and SMILE approaches at another place. When I say SMILE, then the first thing is S for student-centric. How we are going, why we are going to use ICT? Why everybody is saying we have to use ICT? We have to be student-centric. technologies help us to become student-centric, but unfortunately, we are not using technology in such a way. We have to be student-centric, and if we are student-centric, then technology, then we are going to take help of technologies for betterment of education. So we need student-centric approaches to use technology in an effective way. Student-centric, for example, now this is a time that earlier it was a mystery that if my teacher will come, what type of content he or she will deliver. But now we are giving PowerPoint presentation, article, notes before, flipped learning, blended learning. Okay, read this, and when you come, we will discuss. No more mystery, student-centric. Student must know, and then we will discuss. So student-centric. And the second is multimodal. If multimodal approaches, sometime I will use just lecture, sometime PowerPoint presentation, sometime a video lecture, sometime surfing, sometime online discussion, sometime offline discussion, sometime group discussion, sometime one-way presentation. So many, multimodal. If we are one way, so only one model, it will not work. Multimodal, different technologies, and we have to adopt multimodal approaches. Sometime I will use this, and sometime I will use this. Then third is, as our co-panelist was saying, we have to be integrative. Integrative is a kind of blend, face-to-face and online and face-to-face. Integrative. Technologies give us a chance to deliver our content, to deliver the material, to understand our student in a more integrative way. So we have to go for this blended mode, integrative, so applying different technologies emerging all around us for betterment of teaching learning process. So integration, so integrative is both student-centric, multimodal, integrative, and then L is for learning-oriented. Usually, I call my our teaching style. I often give different names to our teaching style, and those who are Hindi speaking, they can understand. I often call our teaching style is Satyanarayan Katha model. Satyanarayan Katha is a popular. So we tell stories and everybody listens, and then in the end there is a prasad and everybody goes to home. And what type of prasad we are giving in our classes? It's attendance. If a student is coming and getting attendance, that's fine. So learning oriented. Where is learning? From yesterday we were talking about learning outcomes. How to improve learning outcomes? And if we have to improve learning outcomes, then we can use technologies. It's learning oriented. Sometimes we are using technology just for sake of using technology. No. If technology is helping us to learn something better, Tamo was telling, and he was using technology to better the learning outcomes. Yes, Tamo, I'm right? Better the learning outcomes. If learning outcome is not there, no use of using such type of maybe if my lecture is sufficient, is okay. If my lecture is not sufficient, I can support it with PPT, with video, or anything. So if learning oriented, we have to think that whether our technologies are helping us, whether ICT is helping us to get learning outcomes in a better way, in a comprehensive way, in a good way. And then last E, and the most important, is engaging. Engaging approaches. And all over the world, technologies are appreciated that it helps us to engage. But sometimes some technologies don't engage us. They do the opposite. They don't engage us so much. They distract. So we have to think that I am going to use this ICT? Is this ICT is helping us to engage, to connect with my student? Is it engaging? क्योंकि अभी तो हम लोग पहले जब तक मोबाइल में इंटरनेट नहीं था, मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ अपनी क्लासेस में, हम लोग कुछ चैन आत्माएं थे. और जब से मोबाइल आया है, और उसके साथ पावरफुल इंटर आया है, हम बेचैन आत्माएं हो गए। अगर 10-15 मिनट कोई मैसेज नहीं आता तो हम सोचते हैं जिस कंपनी का सिम है वो कंपनी दिवालिया तो नहीं हो गई। हम इतने इंपॉर्टेंट आदमी, 15 मिनट से हमारे पास कोई मैसेज आया नहीं। एंड द ओल्ड स्टोरी, युधिष्ठिर है और युधिष्ठिर से यक्ष प्रश्न पूछे गए, तो उनमें पूछा गया कि सबसे चंचल कौन है, तो युधिष्ठिर ने कहा मन है। लेकिन अगर आज युधिष्ठिर उत्तर देते तो कहते नहीं जी, मन तो चंचल है, लेकिन वो मन ज्यादा चंचल है जिसके पास मोबाइल है। और फिर कहते मोबाइल भी वाला मन तो चंचल है जी, लेकिन वो चंचल है जिसके पास डेटा है, और जिसके पास 4G 5G डेटा है, अमुक कंपनी का डेटा है, सर वो मन सबसे ज्यादा चंचल है। So we have to have technologies, and this is all over the world. There is a concern that whether technologies are engaging our students or distracting our students. अभी आप पूरी दुनिया में सुनते होंगे कि मोबाइल पे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया, क्लास में नहीं ला सकते, इसकी बात होती है। और अब तो लोग कैंप भी करने लगे हैं, 1 हफ्ते में गारंटी से मोबाइल से छुटकारा पाए, 2 हफ्ते में फेसबुक का शर्तिया इलाज, ऐसे विज्ञापन आ रहे हैं। और आप स्टार्टअप शुरू कर सकते हैं। आप में से जो टेक्नोलॉजी को, ममूर जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी के हैं, दे कैन थिंक टू स्टार्टअप हाउ टू, कैसे छुटकारा पाएं। सो वी नीड engaging technologies, engaging those technologies that are going to engage me is good for me. If this is not going to engage me, this is not good for me. And technology is a double-sided sword. It's good as well as bad. So we have to think. So first we need smile teachers, and then we need smile approaches. And of course, my last point is, everything depends on a teacher. If a teacher is good, because you see information, communication technologies, those that help us to communicate information. And I say the best information communication technology ever invented is teacher. Teacher is itself a technology. So information, communication, technology, and these tools are going to help him. So we have to have smile teachers and smile approaches. And if smile teachers are using smile approaches, certainly we get the results. And we will be able to integrate information communication technologies in teaching and learning in a better way. But if we don't have smile teachers and smile approaches, then I can think integration will be there, but that integration will be not so fruitful. So I thank Dr. Sadbir Mehdi ma'am, Shri Sanjay Awasthi ji, for inviting me to come here and changing my role. Earlier I was a reporter and then asking me to give some talk. Thank you so much for your patience, Ingrid. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you, Professor Mishra, for bringing smiles back to our faces. A very good morning. I'm thankful to the organizers, Dr. Satbir Bedi, Shri Awasthi ji, for inviting me to share my thoughts on the theme, Integration of Information Technology in Teaching, Learning and Evaluation. Though this was to be read in the beginning, but I'm going to read it now because I think it is also going to conclude the whole discussion. The beginning of Silver Jubilee celebration with the acknowledgement of teacher education and nation building, tracing its journey from the inception, touching each milestone and looking forward to carving new pathways for futuristic roles, strengthening local while going global is what we are all witnessing today. In the past decade, ICT has advanced in ways which are beyond human imagination. The importance of ICT cannot be limited due to the dynamic nature of the concepts, methods, and applications it covers, which remain constantly evolving. ICT has impacted almost every facet of our daily life. As it has been said, the social, emotional, and the intellectual. and has become one of the most important priorities in formal and informal education too. The United Nations Commission on Science and Technology for Development observed that ensuring fair terms and conditions of access to national and global information infrastructures is an important part of the challenge of building innovative knowledge societies. Knowledge principally resides in people rather than in ICTs, databases, or services. It is the human mind which sifts the data into logical information, converts it into knowledge, draws insights from this knowledge and makes it meaningful, reflects on it and gains wisdom and uses it creatively. So the importance of human mind and technology as a tool is very, very important. There is a need to recognize the importance of building social and technological capabilities among users. The leaders of almost all the countries are striving to prepare the citizens to respond adequately to the challenges of the 21st century, have professed the desire to transform their countries into economies, into learning economies and learning societies. In a country like India, which has a vast population, and out of which 60% comprises of young adults, a discussion on knowledge societies would emphasize the need to harness ICTs for development by enabling their use for empowering the poor and the marginalized, and for scientific and technical capacity building that is consistent with global development goals. The new technologies can be implemented to support democratic decision-making in a government like ours, for effective governance and creating knowledgeable citizens. The World Bank argues that knowledge for development is crucial for the future prospects for developing countries, and that the capacities of these countries to apply the growing stock of global electronic knowledge will be increasingly important. The UNCSTD report illustrates that by recombining local knowledge and global knowledge, there are opportunities for developing countries, including the least developed countries, to benefit from ICTs. The Digital India campaign, about which the Minister talked yesterday, strives to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. The three cardinal principles of the draft new national education policy, on which we have been having discussions, those are access, equity, and quality, could be achieved well by harnessing the huge potential of ICT. The present curricula for ICT in education is a step towards realizing the goals of both the national policy, the National Curriculum Framework 2005, and the recommendations of Digital India campaign. Use of ICT also figured in the Government of India flagship program of education, that is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, and has comprehensively been talked about in the norms of schooling recommended by Central Advisory Board Education Report 2005. National Policy on ICT in School Education 2012 states that the youth needs to be prepared to participate creatively in establishment, sustenance, and growth of a knowledge society leading to all-round socio-economic development of the nation and global competitiveness. The policy aims at creating an ICT literate community which can deploy, utilize, benefit from ICT and contribute to nation building. It has factored in the rapid evolution of technologies and the ground realities of Indian school systems. All teachers in a school are expected to become advanced users of ICT, integrating these skills into their professional development as well as their teaching learning practices across all areas of curriculum. ICT-enabled teaching learning processes would require a variety of techniques. Some of those have been mentioned by Professor Mishra just now. The tools, content, and resources aimed at improving the quality and efficiency of classroom teaching. For the teacher, it is an initiation into exploring educational possibilities of technology, learning to make the right choices of hardware, software, and ICT interactions, and more importantly, growing to become a critical user of ICT. For the students, It is an initiation into creativity, problem solving, and an introduction to the world of information and technologies, which could also shape their career pursuits. The main features in the educational system of information society are production of knowledge, geographical and temporal independence of knowledge acquisition, pedagogic and structural innovations in teaching learning processes. Keeping up with these changes would require constant upgradation. Recognizing that teachers as a group represent varying levels of exposure to ICT, the curriculum for teachers should attempt to fast-track them into becoming proficient users of ICT by defining milestones and an evaluation system that allows for teachers to assess their readiness and decide their pace through the course. The policy also suggested that there should be courses in different areas of ICT for higher secondary stages in schools, ICT for skill development for students of vocational education streams, linking them with the need of ICT-enabled industries, and ICT for inclusion of specially abled are significant. The guiding principles for these are: the curricula should be generic, drawing upon the features of a wide range of technological applications and focusing on educational purposes. The focus of the curricula should be on learning to compute, which includes learning to create using a variety of hardware and software tools. ICT literacy, defined as the knowledge and ability to wield tools and devices, shall be an incidental outcome of this learning. The curricula shall provide adequate opportunities for hands-on learning, experiential learning, and open-ended exploration of ICT applications. Sharing of learning and critical evaluation of the learning shall be an integral part of the strategy. A healthy ICT environment requires heightened awareness of the social, ethical, and legal aspects of its use. I think we have yet to talk about these. This is a very important part of using ICT, that we should also be aware about the legal issues. The research literature indicates that use of ICT has a major impact on students' learning. Few researchers argue that using ICT improves higher order thinking skills, though this area of research is still in its infancy. Some researchers have assessed the extent to which constructivism has been incorporated in computer classrooms. Student reflections suggest that they find small group work helpful through the use of technology, demonstrating the value of a collaborative approach to learning. Research literature substantiates that using technological tools in teaching gives students the opportunity to engage in a real world, helping them increase their understanding and develop creativity and innovation skills. There are many options available in the virtual world, some of which have been illustrated by Dr. Mamoor, from which educators can choose in order to achieve real meaning, enabling students to see the real world through their online experiences. For example, video game technologies, role play in online stimulated learning environments, and videos on YouTube can be effective means to talk about different subjects and issues in a realistic manner. ICT is a great tool if it is used judiciously to enhance teaching learning experience in classrooms, as well as a technique for evaluation. Much depends on the user. The user has to be an expert and trained well in its use to make it effective. Smile. This brings me to the questions which have been raised in the program booklet which has been given to all of you. If you look at the program booklet, you will find in the section on ICT, there are certain questions which have been raised by the organizers. Are our teacher education programs adequately preparing our teachers to use ICT in teaching learning process or for evaluation purpose? Are our classrooms conducive for integration of ICT? These are the questions we need to ponder on, and I believe the 10 minutes which we are left with for discussion may be fruitful in doing that. Thank you so much. We would like to invite questions, but crisp questions, yes, very crisp questions from the audience. Those can be asked from the panelists.
Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Sarvesh Mishra, National Award Teacher, उत्तर प्रदेश से हूँ. और अभी मिश्रा सर ने इस्माइल की बात करी है. उस कॉन्सेप्ट में मैं एक इस्माइल शब्द और एक शब्द अभी सोशल मीडिया में जो स्पेशली हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं, सर ने बात करी मोबाइल और इंटरनेट की दुनिया की, इस्माइली शब्द का यूज करते हैं. एक इस्माइली भेजते हैं जनरली. उससे जोड़ते हुए अपनी बात करना चाहता हूँ कि अगर ये इस्माइल को इस्माइली बना दें और उसमें दोनों इस्माइल अप्रोचेज और इस्माइल टीचर्स सेक्शन में हम इवेल्युएटर एक शब्द जोड़ सकते हैं जो डबल ई हो जाएगा लास्ट में. उसका टीचर इवेल्युएटर भी हो जब हम बात लर्निंग आउटकम की करते हैं या बात करते हैं कि लगातार इवेल्युएशन होते रहना चाहिए बच्चों का क्लासरूम के भीतर या लर्नर का. वहाँ अगर हम और एक ई करते हैं तो इवेल्युएटर हो जाएगा. और आपके नेक्स्ट उसमें है जहाँ आप बात करते हैं इस अप्रोचेज की बात करते हैं. अगर माननीय मंत्री जी ने भी कहा कि हम संस्कार युक्त शिक्षा की बात करते हैं कि हमारी शिक्षा संस्कार युक्त हो, ऐसे में हम एथिकल की भी बात करना चाहेंगे. हमारा जो अप्रोच हो, टीचर का जो अप्रोच हो एथिकल भी हो. इससे जो है हमारी शिक्षा में संस्कार बढ़ेगा जो आज के समय की ज़रूरत भी है जैसा कि हम देख रहे हैं. दूसरा सर, मैं मामूर अली सर, मैं नेशनल आईसीटी अवार्ड के लिए पार्टिसिपेट कर चुका हूं, तो मैं सर की नॉलेज से परिचित हूं. मुझे आपसे मिलने का सौभाग्य मिला है. आपने बहुत अच्छी जानकारी दी हम लोगों को यूज ऑफ आईसीटी और उन तमाम प्लेटफॉर्म्स के बारे में. मैं सर से एक निवेदन करना चाहूँगा कि सर जो है मैं गवर्नमेंट बेसिक स्कूल से हूँ यूपी के, और हम लोगों के यहाँ अभी संसाधनों की गवर्नमेंट के लेवल पे बड़ी कमी है. सर आप ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म पे हैं कि ऐसा कुछ करें कि जो हमारे टीचर यूज ऑफ आईसीटी का यूज करना चाहते हैं उनके पास गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से आईसीटी मटेरियल उपलब्ध कराया जाए. थैंक यू सर.
Yes, I am Professor P. Shivakumar, Professor and Head of the Department of Education, Erapa University, Karaikudi, Tamil Nadu. First of all, I thank the NCTE for organizing such a wonderful international seminar to bring all the stakeholders in a single platform. And regarding that, the integration of ICT, a monumental amount of work has been done regarding the conceptual clarity. So we don't need more conceptual clarity. What we need is a working model or the tangible model as rightly pointed out by Dr. Tamo. So what we need is more case studies and working model which can be followed by us. And my question to Dr. Tamo, and you have identified the e-mentor, excellent work carried out in your area. And my question is, which platform can be used by the mentor and mentee to upload their video? And which platform, because it's a very cost-effective one, I think it's a zero-cost one. We can use many platforms. Which platform can be used as cost-effectively to upload the mentor and the mentee's video? That's the first question. The second question is, if we upload all these video and other things, even the feedback on website, how far it is, how about the privacy of mentee is ensured? What about the privacy of the mentee? Because everybody can see that all this work carried out by the mentee. These are the two questions, please.
We'll be addressing these two questions first. Before Professor Chattopadhyay answers this question, I would like to point out in this panel we had two case studies. One was by Ict, that was from Bangalore, and this was by Mr. Shankar Muruwada, and the other was by Mr. Sandeep Gun from Maharashtra. These were two case studies, but unfortunately these people could not be with us. But I had looked up, I had checked their work on the internet, and I found these case studies very interesting. So as you said, there should have been case studies, so you can look up, and see the kind of work these people are doing, and this will give you an insight into how technology is being used in a very meaningful manner in rural areas. So next,
Hello, Namaskar.
Before Dr. Tamo answers, I would love to add one factor on the ICT learning. Dr. Pandey from NPSC. Ma'am, you have correctly said that legal aspect is very important these days. And can we explore integrating the cyber safety along with ICT? Thank you.
हेलो नमस्कार, मैं गुजरात से बलदेव परी, नेशनल एवॉर्डी टीचर और आईसीटी एवॉर्डी टीचर। मेरा मानना है अभी ज़ोर ज़ोर से बात चल रही है डिजिटल इंडिया की, और जब तक टीचर डिजिटल नहीं होंगे तब तक डिजिटल इंडिया की शक्यता बिल्कुल नहीं है। तो डिजिटल टीचर से डिजिटल इंडिया, मैंने इसके पर इनोवेशन भी किया है और इसके पर 2011 से काम कर रहा हूँ। 2015 में से काम लेके टीचर्स को डिजिटल बनाने के लिए जो हमारा आईसीटी के टूल्स है किस तरीके से यूज़ किया जाए, और इसमें 3000 टीचर्स को ट्रेनिंग दे चुका हूँ और सब टीचर्स अपना ये गुजरात में कर रहे हैं। तो जब तक डिजिटल टीचर्स नहीं होंगे, सबने स्माइल की बात की है, उससे ही जुड़ता है बात कि जब डिजिटल टीचर होंगे तभी डिजिटल इंडिया की कल्पनाएं सिद्ध होगी। मेमोरली शास्त्री में ये भी कहना चाहूँगा कि जो टीचर्स आईसीटी अवॉर्डी है अभी तक उसका अवॉर्ड भी नहीं दिया गया है, तो उसके लिए भी कुछ स्पीड में किया जाए काम, तो सबको खुशी होगी, सब कह रहे हैं। थैंक यू।
Good morning, sir. I am Om Prakash Mishra, National Award teacher from Odisha. So it's a question for Dr. Mamur Ali. Sir, we are talking about integration of ICT with education and with constructivism also. I happens to be in the district of Koraput, which is one of the most remotest areas of our country. Sir, every year a lot of students from teacher education institutes are coming to my school for practice teaching. But I never find them introducing all these things. In their lesson note, they are writing the very perfect method of constructivism, but in their practice teaching, it is not reflected in the classroom transaction. Also, when I give induction training to most of the freshly recruited teachers also, I am surprised if they had ever been to any teacher education institutes. So what is the gap, sir? Already we have integrated ICT. We already a number of innovative steps are being taken by a number of teacher education institutes. Still, if it is not coming out, the people teachers are not taking out anything from the training institutes, so whoever likes the fault, sir.
Good morning. My name is Sottogopal De. I am the head of child protection and advocacy of an organization called Bikramsila Education Resource Society. It is a national level education resource organization working in 10 states and Nepal. This is not more of a question but a submission before NCTE, because with the help of Tata Trust, Bikramsila is into the ICT for over the years. In particular, with the madrasa education system, the result being yielded enormously. I don't have time to share those case studies. My submission over here, as a follow-up to this international and very valuable conference, can we take a resolution of collating some good practices and what is being happened all across the country? Bikramsila can join hand in the process, number one. Number two, do's and don't of ICT. One of the distinguished guests has already spoken about the legal aspect, cyber safety, if those can be done. That's my submission to the organizer as well as to the panelists. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Vikram Arsul from Maharashtra, National Teacher Awardee and National ICT Teacher Awardee. मिश्रा सर से मैं बात करना चाहता हूँ कि टीचर ने स्मार्ट बनना चाहिए, सही बात है। टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस और इवैल्यूएशन में टीचर स्मार्ट बनना चाहिए, लेकिन मेरा सर्वे है, मैं ग्रास रूट पे काम करता हूँ। जो टीचर अभी टेक्नो से भी बन रहे हैं, उनके पीछे दूसरा ही ऑफिशियली काम पड़ रहा है। मानो कि एक क्लस्टर है, क्लस्टर के जो केपी है वो एक टीचर जो टेक्नीशियन है उसको बोलते हैं कि ये स्कूल का डाटा सब कलेक्ट करो, ऐसा करो वैसा करो। जब भी कोई मीटिंग आती है तो उसे लेके जाते हैं। तो अभी टीचर टेक्नीशियन भी बोल रहा है कि मैं टेक्नीशियन नहीं हूं, क्योंकि उसको ये आईसीटी का यूज क्लास में करने की वजह बाहर जाना पड़ता है। बाहर जाने के लिए खुद का टाइम, खुद का पेट्रोल, खुद का पैसा सब वेस्ट हो रहा है। तो इसके बारे में अगर हम सोचेंगे कि कैसे एस्टेब्लिश किया है तो अच्छा हो जाएगा। थैंक यू।
Hello. This is Professor Duraswamy, a former colleague of former faculty of NCERT. Dr. Mamoor Ali made an effort to present on the integrated knowledge, that is techno-pedagogical content knowledge. In his presentation, he mentioned that ICT can be used in developing concept mapping. I don't know what is the role that ICT plays in developing the concept mapping. Now, is it for representing the concept map or for creating concept map? I think concept maps are created in the mind and not on paper using ICT. So you can represent using ICT the concept map. Concept mapping is also called as mind mapping. The mind mapping happens in the mind. I think the concept map or conceptual hierarchies express the relation between concepts. Concepts are not learnt in isolation. Concepts are interrelated. And mapping represent the interrelationship among the concepts. Another observation of mine is on ICT in teacher education. I understand that modeling and lesson study are epistemic pedagogies used for developing teacher competence. Modeling initially originated from the micro-teaching technique for developing teacher competence in teaching skills. People discard modeling as a mundane technique because it is based on behavior modification technique. I feel modeling can be highly cognitive. It can develop not only what of teaching, but also of when and how of teaching. The when and how of teaching actually develops the integrated knowledge, the pedagogical content knowledge. And there are two types of modeling, the visual and the symbolic. In visual modeling, ICT can play an important role. And an analysis, lesson study of the visual models can develop the integrated knowledge of the teacher. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Greetings.
Excuse
Just
me.
one line question. As there is a difference in principles for andragogy and pedagogy, similarly for technology adaptation to make a tech-savvy teacher or a tech-savvy individual, an adult, are there any principles or studies that have been done? I would like to learn that from the panel. Thank you.
The last question, yes.
Excuse me. I'm not asking the question, but this is my suggestion and reflection about the presentation of Professor P.K. Mishra, sir. This is Professor Sandhya from Amarkantak, and my university is situated at a very remote place, and Amarkantak is a tribal belt also. And I want to clear one thing in ourselves, that not only school teachers, but teacher educators are also doing lots of experiment in the classroom, just like us. Sir is saying that everybody should have the smile on the face, and we should create a smart teacher. Because Professor Mishra is a smart teacher, that's why I am the student of Professor Mishra, that's why I am also smart. Because I am using zero technology-based technique in my classroom as a teacher of educational psychology. First duty of myself is to awake my student without medicine. Because tribal belt is like a belt line. Amarkantak is a very forest dense area, and the students of that area are very active, but first of all, we think about they are from tribal belt, that's why they are very laser in nature. But I find out that in that area, in my area, अमरकंटक, जो भी बच्चे हैं, अगर आप उनको एक बार बताओगे वो तुरंत ग्रेस्प करते हैं. और हम लोगों ने क्या किया कि हमारे पास LCD प्रोजेक्टर्स इतने नहीं भी है और हम ट्राइबल एरिया में जाकर ले जाकर उनको दिखा नहीं सकते. तो हमने क्या किया वहाँ जाकर कि हमने मोबाइल का यूज़ किया और मोबाइल से हमने कई सारी चीज़ें उनको सिखाना शुरू की. वहीं से जो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी है उनसे एक वाइट शीट लेकर और वहीं पर हमने चीज़ें उनको दिखाई हैं. और चाहे वो हेल्थ एंड हाइजीन का इशू हो, चाहे वो सैनिटेशन का इशू हो, चाहे डिजिटल लिटरेसी का इशू है, कई सारे ऐसे हमारे आसपास के विलेजेस हैं जहाँ पर कि हमने जो डिजिटल लिटरेसी है उसको भी दिया है और वहाँ के बच्चों को जाकर हमने कई सारे कॉन्सेप्ट जो साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल्स हैं उनको भी प्रूव किया हुआ है. तो यहाँ पर ये नहीं है कि हमें बहुत सारा सामान चाहिएगा तभी हम उस चीज़ को कर पाएंगे, लेकिन इस एफर्ट को देखते हुए ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर प्रोफेसर टीवी कट्टीमनी ने बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम लोगों को दी कि आप लोग अगर कम्युनिटी वर्क करना चाहते हो विद द हेल्प ऑफ ICT, देन वी कैन प्रोवाइड लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग टू यू. एंड ही हैज़ अरेंज्ड नंबर ऑफ लाइक LCD प्रोजेक्टर्स फॉर रूरल कम्युनिटी. और इस हिसाब से हम लोगों को लगता है कि प्लेस और जो भी एरिया है उसका कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बल्कि हमें थोड़ा सा स्मार्ट होना पड़ेगा. बट क्वेश्चन इज दिस कि हाउ वी कैन क्रिएट स्मार्ट टीचर एज अ पर्सन विच इज वेरी लेजी इन नेचर, बिकॉज 80% of the teachers do not want to work.
Dr.
So
Sandhya,
this is my question.
We've
Yes,
understood. Thank you.
Excuse
Many thanks for the illustrations and for the suggestions. And I would just, I would request my co-panelists to answer the questions in a very, very brief manner. And some of the questions can be taken to tea also.
I will request NCTE to organize next conference, how to produce smart teachers. The first, and I am so thankful we come with a smile and going with a smileys. Thank you so much, and some of the questions we can discuss during tea break. Thank you so
Kindly
much.
stay back, and we want to present mementos to our guest speaker and the Honorable Chair. Dr. D.K. Pandey, Principal NC Jindal Public School, is now requested to please come up onto the stage and present mementos to the guests. All, yeah.
मैं तो आधा घंटे से तैयार बैठी हूँ, 8:30 तैयार हो गई मैं. We'll all start.
We have to reassemble here after half an hour from now. Kindly stay back for a moment. 11 o'clock? 11:30, okay. हमें 11:30 तक वापस आना है. We shall resume the next session at 11:30. So please join us for a cup of tea. कृपया चाय पर पधारें और 11:30 बजे हम लोग सब यहीं पर होंगे. We shall come back here at 11:30. Thank you so much. नमस्कार.